Hey, good evening. I am about to do a project that I can't wait to show you. Okay, so as you hop on, whether you're watching the replay or you're here right now live, I would love for you to say hello. Let me know where you're watching from. And if you're a Digital Dust subscriber, will you just say, hey, I'm a Digital Dust subscriber? And so this will be a special treat for you. I'm going to show you a little bit of what I'm going to finish up the project with. So if you are in the membership, you saw how I got to this point, and I am going to get the whole sign completed today, and then we will upload this into the member area too. But I wanted you to watch live with me and ask questions if you have them. So, hey, as you're hopping on, okay, look, I just got back from Walmart. I got some new paintbrushes, and I was trying to decide whether or not to do my normal paint pen with my signs that I normally do, or if I was going to use a paintbrush. So we're going to go with the paintbrush today. And could you let me know that you can hear me and see me fine? I've not checked any of that on my phone. Maybe I should do that. Although I don't really need to be on the internet on here, but just to make sure before I get started, I'm going to double check. Okay. Yay! Okay, it looks like it's working. Wonderful. Well, I say that. Kind of looks frozen. Uh-oh. Let me click into it. Okay, going good. All right. Yay! Okay, here we go. So if you are in Digital Dust, I showed you how I got to this point. I uploaded a video earlier today. You can find it in the welcome area when you join, but this is what I used. And so I showed this a little bit in stories. I don't know if you saw it, but this is a Digital Dust design that normally is just one page. It's normally one page when you print. It's just an up and down design. But I decided to do a really large, I say really large, it's pretty big, wood sign. And I wanted to show a way that you could take a canvas, whether it be like a 16 by 20 or whatever, and take your Digital Dust design that's normally one page, and we sectioned it out into 2 pages and made it really long, skinny, stretched it out, keeping the aspect ratio the same though, because you don't want the lettering to get, wonky. But then I used my graphite paper. And again, you'll get like a slowed down how I did all of this in that other video. But I laid these down, placed it on here, traced all around, and then that let me have this template. Now, let me know if you can see. Hey, Beth, let me know if you can see the outline. Good. I may have to come in a little closer. Let me just kind of lift up on that. But do you see that outline? That is what I laid down on the board to give me a guideline. So you have a template from this. And so I used a website called blockposters.com to create this bigger design, but you can actually make it even bigger. You can tell it to do like 4 papers, 6 papers, depending on how big you need it to be. And the reason I love this is because a lot of times people get paralyzed with the spacing of things, the like whole, how do I center it? Where do I put it? How do I lay out the lettering? And so hopefully these templates will give you a way to jump right into creating and not have to use all that brain power for that. So I'm going to be using some chalk paint tonight and a paintbrush, which is totally not what I'm used to doing. I usually use a paint pen, and you can. And if you're like not real confident with a paintbrush, you can totally do this with a paint pen, but I'm just going to be dipping right in. I'm using this Waverly Snow White acrylic paint. Ooh, I almost poured some out on the sign, but I'm using this. It's from Walmart, and I just really like matte finish. I like the chalk finish. And so I'm going to come in. This is going to say, let our hearts be full of thanks and giving. And the real crazy part's going to be when I start working on these leaves in the end, but we'll save those for last. I've got some color to add to it. I'm just gonna, let's see. I guess I'll have you to where you can see that. But I have to add some color for the leaves, but that should be fun. And leaves are not normally something that I do either. I focus on lettering, but with this, I can have that template there and it gives me a little more confidence to go in. All right, the one thing I like about using paint and a paintbrush versus a paint pen is not having to come in later and do a second coat on the white. Because, oh my goodness, we know white paint pens are very finicky and they need at least 2 coats, sometimes 3. So this, I'm having to go very light though on my lettering, like having to press very lightly, just let it glide across. And the biggest tip I can give for using a paintbrush with your lettering is to keep your brush loaded with paint. Because if you're trying to do it with a dry brush, it's just no good. It takes, yeah, it's just not good. So keep a loaded brush. And I love the finished product when you have a loaded brush because you have that raised paint and it just really shows it was hand painted. I really like that. See all that? You probably can't tell from here, but it's got a lot of 3D effect on that T. Okay, there's a leaf right here, but I'm going to leave it for now. And then I'm just going to come in and do the O. See that? See how that's drying out? A loaded brush will take that away, and we might have to do it a couple different times. How are y'all doing? Oh my goodness, y'all, it is so hot here. I'm in North Louisiana, and I mean, I walked outside and just to get some stuff out of the shop for this live, and I immediately started sweating. It's like, oh, I can't. I gotta go. I gotta get out. Get back in the house. I mean. All right. Oh, I just love the look of the paint versus the paint pen. Now, y'all know I'm using a paint pen a majority of the time, but when I have the time to take and use a paintbrush, I'm always very pleased with the final outcome. All right, and then can y'all see real good? Everybody good? Y'all are quiet tonight. So I'm going to tell you the last time that I was on, I don't remember if it was live or it might have been in a post where I just commented something. And I said the next time that I'm live, I'm going to tell the story of how we moved into our house. So since y'all are quiet, I'm going to talk. And, oh, and look, I want to say, Tisa, is that, how will you tell me how you pronounce your name? I would love to see it. I mean, yeah, to see the pronunciation, because anytime I read your names, I want to make sure I'm saying them correctly. But I'm going to tell you how we moved into this house. We live right next door to my grandmother. That's what it was. I posted a picture of my grandmother, and I think I told y'all that we live next door to each other. So when my grandfather passed away, me and my husband, I think I just had one little boy at the time. We had gone down to my grandmother's house because you know how like after the funeral, everybody comes over and brings a dish and that sort of thing. Well, the people who lived in this house brought down a dish to my grandmother. And when they came down, they said, "That's okay, Samantha. Let's see. What brush I'm using is, look, I just picked up this pack today from Walmart. So this is just a Hello Hobby premium detail brush. I don't know, and then let's see, it's number 2 round. It's just a round brush would probably be the best answer to give you, but it's real thin since I'm using it for the lettering. But the people who lived here walked down to my grandmother's house and brought food. And they said, look, they told my aunts and uncles, we're getting ready to sell our house, but we know that Miss Burns just lost Mr. Burns, and we don't want her to not know her neighbors. Do y'all know anyone looking? And at the time, me and my husband lived in Mississippi because of his job, but we were so desiring to move back home because we had our first son and we were trying to get back home to family, like, just be around more family. And we were like, oh my goodness, we are interested. And so we came and looked, and it was a done deal. So we live right next door to my grandmother, and we always feel like it was just a little God moment that it was right after my grandfather passed away. Okay, we're going to get down to the fun part, like the big calligraphy part. So I'm going to go ahead and start with this H. So I chose, for the demonstration of the last video, the one that I was telling you I posted in the member area, I chose to do this like showing, let's see, let me stop for a second. I chose to trace the entire letter, but you do not have to do that. For the sake of time, if you feel more confident in your lettering and you feel like you can go for it, you can just letter the bones, like trace the bones out, and then come in with your paintbrush and add that thickness to the downstroke. But just in case, I wanted to show that you could do either or. You could do this option where now you're going to have the confidence to say, I know everywhere to add that thickness. And so that is why I did it this way, but you do not have to. That's a lot of time. That's a lot of tracing when you do the entire thing. But this one is so, like the stained wood with pencil, it's so hard to see that if you don't stay, you know, directly in the lines, then it's okay because you almost can't tell it at all. And you can erase it. I don't know if I've never really mentioned that, but you can erase those pencil lines when you get done. And so then it really will come across like, use a template. It's a big secret. And what the reason I'm saying this is what I give. Thank you, Melissa. Yeah, he is so in control. And, you know, what really, I'll pause what I was saying. What really makes me sad, though, is that, so my grandfather was a pastor for years. He was retired whenever he had passed away, but I really didn't surrender my life to the Lord until after he had passed away. And there were often times when I would think, I wish Papa was here, you know, so I could talk to him about these questions I have, or, you know, and anyway, it's been, you know, that's kind of sad. But then my grandmother, she let me go in his study and like look through all his books. So I have a bunch of his old books and his sermon notes, and all that is so awesome to me. And the thing is like, you take for granted, you know, what you have, and then when they're gone, you're like, no. And so, yeah, I regret not tapping all of his knowledge while he was here. So if you have a grandparent or a mother or father that is still alive, you text them right now and tell them you love them. I don't even remember what I was saying because now I'm all thinking about that. But oh, I don't remember what I was saying. Oh, I think I was going to say the reason that I'm excited to offer these as templates like this is because you can hand letter your own signs for your home, or you can even sell what you make. Okay, let's see. What do you suggest if you get the downstroke too fat? So if you do, then the key is to have a definite upstroke and downstroke. So in some areas, it won't be as forgiving. But let's say you went a little too thick on the downstroke. What if you thickened up the upstroke, but then your downstroke is still thicker? So the goal is to keep it balanced, but there's a possibility you can save it if you just add more thickness to that upstroke. Does that make sense? So I never want you to feel like, oh no, I've completely messed it up, until you've tried, you know, just to add that thickness a little bit. You may have, though, and then you just start over. The other thing about this is that it's nothing like handwriting. I don't know if you've already tried hand lettering a little bit, Samantha, but you're definitely not doing handwriting. You are drawing out the letters and then adding in that thickness. And so the key to me is to make sure you give yourself enough room to add that thickness. You got to make sure there's space between those letters. In my book, I have this huge thing that says space it out, and like the word space is written super wide. All right, we're getting to a point where I need to scoot over a little bit. And this one, I'm probably not going to have a big loop. I'm going to kind of close that area up. Again, keep your paintbrush loaded. And then there is a way that we can take a paintbrush. I did this a couple years ago on a live, and I haven't done it since. So as we move down, I'm going to show it to you. I'm going to take a paintbrush and show you a hack. If you prefer using paint pens, but you want the look of a paintbrush, there is a way you can kind of do it and not have to stress about the amount of pressure that you apply. Because I'm sitting here talking about this, and my workbook is all about faux calligraphy, and this is more brush. So there is, a little bit of a difference here. Right now, it does, how much pressure I'm applying goes with how thick the stroke is. But I'm using a really thin brush, so it's not too hard. Okay, we're going to come around, and then more pressure on that downstroke. This is more similar to if you used a brush pen. But y'all, I'm telling you, having these guidelines down is helping me right now to even talk to you while I'm lettering, because I'm not focusing so hard. It's just like having a little paint by number. But you have to lay it yourself. So you do have to take the time to trace it out and all of that. But what's cool about it is you can choose to do it on any surface that you want. You don't have to have this board. A lot of people don't have, like my dad helps me, y'all. He, cuts all my wood. He does all of the wood plaques for our hem boards, which, by the way, if you are new here, oh my goodness, I don't know where some of you are coming from, which makes me super excited, because I'm like, oh wow, our follower count's growing over here on Facebook, and our orders. Holy moly. Like, we're going to put out, I think, around 75 hymns just this week. And that is not the norm for us. It has been amazing, and I am so grateful, like so grateful. The only thing that I can think of is that we do have a couple reels that have been getting a lot of attention. And I talked about that in my stories the other day. I was like, I guess y'all are coming from reels. I don't know. Or Summer's page. If you missed my live with Summer, my friend Summer from Hammond's Nest. Oh my goodness. That was amazing. I'm so grateful to her for having me on her page. That was so fun. If you're here from Summer's page, I love you. I'm so excited that we got to do that project together. Because, okay, if you don't know what I'm talking about, Summer is a friend that's local to me. She has a page called Hammond's Nest, and she uses a silhouette for vinyl cutting. So she uses my digital dust designs in a whole other way. She's not a hand letterer, but she still gets use out of the designs. And because I give it in an SVG and a DXF form. So she would be able to take this design and then do it like a vinyl cutout on a wood sign, or use it as a stencil, like a reverse stencil, where she can come in and add the paint that way. So that's really fun. So you don't even have to be a hand letterer to enjoy the digital dust subscription. Okay, let's see. Okay, so you would definitely use the tracing paper. Oh my goodness, that's awesome, Samantha. Okay, well, have you checked out the Digital Dust subscription? You may love it. Let's see. Susie says, I don't know if I'll ever be able to do that. Well, look, don't look at me right now and say, oh, she's making that look so easy and all that, because this is 9 years, y'all. 9 years in the making. So do not feel like you have to do this right away. I only wanted to show another option because I show so many times me using a paint pen. So that's the only reason I'm showing with a paintbrush. A paint pen is much simpler. It's a, easier tool to use, and it would go along with my workbook, like with the faux calligraphy. I'll tell you another reason why I'm showing with a paintbrush. y'all know I'm trying to swap over to those Posca pens because I like them so much better than the Elmer's, but I couldn't find my white one. I've only bought one pack of Poscas and I couldn't find the white one. And so I was like, well, I have a ton of Elmer's and I do. I mean, I will still use them. I've used them for 9 years. I just discovered how amazing Poscas are. But I thought, let me show this other method. You never know. You may pick up a paintbrush and say, wow, I like this better, because you're not going to come in with that second coat. Let's just kind of give that a little cross. And see, I love the template thing because you can actually get a little bit, I don't know, like your own style with it. Like you don't have to follow exactly, but it just lays out the layout. It lays out the bones for you. So don't ever feel like you have to follow exactly, but it just gives you that guideline to go for it and not have to stress over the layout. Okay, a good paint pen, Giselle, is Posca. And this is the brand. This is not a white one, but this is my favorite brand now. It used to be this one. It's still a good one. I get this one from Walmart. This one I get from Amazon. I mean, they have these on Amazon, but I just pick them up at Walmart. But either one's good. I just have found that those Poscas, I don't have to press a million times. Like with the Elmer's, I am continually like dab, 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 and making it like having to get that paint flowing like ever so often. And the Poscas so far have been to where I have not had to do that. All right, I've got a lot of paint in this area. I'm going to get that spread out a little bit. Oh, that's okay. Let's see. The tracing paper is, or I say tracing paper. Okay, so the template, I don't know which, when I say tracing paper, I'm thinking of this. This is graphite paper. It has a shiny side. You can actually see where I lettered that. But it has a shiny side and then like a more matte side. So the shiny side, you place it down and then like lay your template over it and then trace away. And when you pull it up, it'll be there. And if you are just hopping on, if you're in the Digital Dust subscription, I uploaded a video showing exactly how to enlarge those designs, make them for the size canvas that you're using, and then how to use that graphite paper and everything. I need to link the graphite paper, but you can find it on Amazon as well. I think like 100 sheets are only, I don't know, I'm not going to quote it, maybe $5. Like it's minimal. Okay, so let our hearts be full. And then this is going to say of thanks and giving. I'm going to have to shift it up a little bit. And then I've got some leaves on here. I even picked up some fall colors. I've got like a dark red and then this maize yellow. I'm excited to try it. And then I have a brown over here, so that'll be fun. Yes, I think it is. Okay, so graphite paper and carbon paper, they're the same concept, but they must be different because they're in 2 different packages at Hobby Lobby. So I'm like, okay, somebody on here that knows. What's the difference in graphite paper and carbon paper? One's graphite and one's carbon? I don't know. I know that graphite is what's in our pencils, so that's the same stuff. I think it's probably the same. I kind of wish that what I would have used for this was white lines, like a white deposit, but it didn't. So if you know of like does carbon paper look exactly the same, or are there any types of paper that would give me a white outline? That would be very cool to have on stained wood. Okay. Oh, but anyway, I was also talking to y'all about like the orders and everything. Y'all, I'm just blown away. So thankful. My dad, he's working hard to get the plaques done. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I have like how we got started was well, how we got started online locally was just making signs like this. But how we got started online was these, I got one, these hem boards. So my dad makes these wooden plaques. They start out as a really big sheet of plywood, and then he cuts them, bevels them, stains them, paints them, distresses them. They're like 100% handmade, and then we attach the hand lettered hem sheet to the board. And that has been kind of like our main thing for a very long time. That's what you'll see if you go to imperfectdust.com. The lettering side of things just kind of came more recently, in recent years. And that just came from people asking me, like, how did you learn? How do you do this? And I just said, well, the way I learned was looking on Pinterest. So you can also just look on Pinterest, and I would try to copy what I saw. But teaching has been so fun. I will be honest. For years, I was like, I don't want to teach people. If I teach people, then they're going to be able to make signs on their own, and then they're never going to buy from me, which is such a small-minded way of thinking, and I don't feel like that anymore. It's so funny because I actually went through that too with Hobby Lobby. I would walk the halls of Hobby Lobby, and I started noticing that they had hand-lettered signs, and I was like, no, if they sell hand-lettered signs, they do 40 and 50% off all the time. Nobody's going to buy from me. And then I've shared this before on here that I was like, Lord, I really, really want to be one of the artists behind one of these signs, because there has to be an artist behind every one of them. And that's when I started praying to get the artwork into Hobby Lobby. And so it's really kind of neat to think about how the mindset has shifted from, oh my goodness, Susie, they do? That's amazing. I'm going to look for that. She said, if you didn't see, she said that Hobby Lobby has, speaking of Hobby Lobby, they have white graphite paper. Oh, that is cool. I have not seen that yet. But anyway, my mindset's changed. So now you can find some of our designs in Hobby Lobby, because I was like, let's change our mindset. Let's go from maybe instead of they're our competitor, we partner. And that has been so fun. It's like a treasure hunt, going in there and finding your artwork. Okay. This is, I don't know. I feel like this is, and I know you can't like feel painting with me. Hey, Sandy, but I really like painting with a paintbrush. It just, I feel like it glides so smooth, and the finished product is so nice. So I'm really enjoying this. And this is chalk paint. This isn't anything like, this is that Waverly chalk paint from Walmart. I'm also like a huge fan of chalk paint. I just like the way that it looks. I like how it dries super fast. You don't have to wait very long. Let's see. So you said graphite is for artists and it's unwaxed, making it erasable. As for carbon, it leaves lines that stay put. That is great information for us to know, Samantha. Thank you for telling us, because I did not know. So when I made that comment earlier about these lines, so can I erase this? I have erased it in the past, I think. This is graphite, so yes. But the carbon is what could not. Sandy, this is a number 2 round, and it came from Walmart in just a random pack that I bought today. So nothing real special over here, but it's working good. Oh, I forgot to talk to y'all about my hack thing. I might do it. I might wait till the end, because this is going really good and I don't want to change up the way I'm doing it. But basically what I did one time on a live, that it was because, do you remember, Sandy, you've been here since the beginning. Oh my goodness. So maybe you remember this. This would have been more like about 3 years ago. I was on a live and I was working with some really rough wood. It was like, actually, it's so funny that I mentioned my Pepaw earlier, because it was from my Pepaw's old shed. And I was lettering on it, and it was so rough, and I couldn't get the paint to go on smoothly. And then I ended up taking the paintbrush, I cut the tip, like I cut the, so that the bristles, I could like dig into it. And then it turned out to be like a new way for me to use a paintbrush when I lettered, and I loved it. So when I use rough wood, I would do something like that. This wood is so smooth. It's been sanded and gone through a planer and things like that. So I do not have that necessity with it. But it does make it, you know, a different way. So I could show that here in a little bit. Oh, it just goes on so smooth. So nice. And then number one tip, keep it loaded so that it goes on smooth and you don't feel like you're dry brushing it. All right. We're almost done. Oh, good. You do remember that. Okay, let's see. Pam. Oh, wait. Yes, it would be so good for dartboards. Yeah, and then y'all could see the lines better. So sorry about that. Next time I do stained wood, I will be using that carbon paper. I'll make sure to look for some next time I'm there. I have a General's charcoal pencil that I love to use whenever I'm freehanded. Like if I was going to freehand this before I got started, I would have used that. And so whenever I lettered this, I actually thought the same thing. I thought, man, I wish there were a white version. And so I'm so excited to know that there is, and I appreciate you sharing that. All right. And look, modern calligraphy, you can have so much fun. Notice I did not connect this K and this S. It's not, this one is not like the S up here, but you can get away with so much with modern calligraphy and just kind of have fun with it. So I'm going to scoot it up just a little, and we have some leaves here that I'll get to in just a minute. I'm going to have the word "and" in print. Let's see. It's funny because I can write well, but I'm definitely challenged with the paintbrush. I'm going to keep trying. I love the look of it. Yes, keep trying. Keep practicing. Have you ever seen the post that I share that shows my, it's called progress. Hold on. Practice makes progress. I just was having I like to say, I was having a brain fart. I couldn't think of the words. But it shows when I first started, and oh my goodness, I look back and I'm like, who bought my stuff? But I don't know, like people did. So don't be down on yourself. We are our own worst critics, and don't ever be afraid to put yourself out there and show it off and see, the progress that you make. I wish I would have documented even more in the beginning. I have, old pictures to go back on, but it is so cool to go back and then compare to my old lettering to now. Okay. Let's see. We're going to come down thicker. So if you were like super, super new to the page, calligraphy is thin upstrokes and thick downstrokes. I'm going to add a little accent on these. I say accent. They're called serifs. And look, this one doesn't have it. This one does. You can just do whatever you want. You don't have to follow any rules, which makes a lot of teachers like, I don't know. I've had teachers in my hand lettering classes before, and I'm like, please throw out all the rules that you learned in school because we're not following them tonight. Speaking of handwriting, it's so different from regular handwriting. You are going to draw the letters and then fill them in. In my book, I say you draw the bones and then you add the body. And that's how my brain thinks of it. All right, I'm not loading up this pen, this paintbrush enough. I'm just nervous because it's so close together. I don't want to get too much paint. There we go. Are y'all pulling out fall decorations at your house? It's so hot here. I can't even. But I'm ready for cooler weather. And I've always been such a summer girl. Like, I love summer. And I used to think people were absolutely crazy that fall was their favorite. Like, it's so funny because making signs, you have all these different sayings. And one of them was, fall is my favorite. And I remember making that sign. I was like, fall's not my favorite. Why is fall everybody's favorite? I don't really like fall. And the older I'm getting, the more I like fall. So I'm starting to understand. I'm going to scoot this up a little bit and work on the word giving. It's going to be so pretty. I love white on stained wood. All right. I'm going to press a little harder, but we're going to definitely come back over that with more paint. Okay, got a little quiet. I was trying to concentrate. I'm in North Louisiana, Pam. It is so hot. Hey, you said you're in South Carolina? I'm coming to South Carolina. I'm like, wait a minute, is that North Carolina? Charleston. I'm coming to Charleston in October. I'm so excited. I've never been. Have any of you gone to Charleston? I have never been there, but this is what's funny. Y'all know we recently went on vacation in California, and everybody was like, where are y'all from? Well, they weren't saying that. That's they were asking, where are you from? Like they were doing it in a different way. But what was so funny is there was a guy because we rode that boat over to the Catalina Island thing or whatever. And the guy goes, ma'am, I'm sorry to bother you, but I have to ask, we have a debate going on where you're from. And I said, oh, cool, Pam. And that's funny, Samantha. He said, we have a bet, like, where are you from? And I said, Louisiana. And he said, oh, man. He was like, I'm from Alabama. I thought Alabama. And then his friend thought, I think she thought North Carolina or one of the Carolinas. I don't really remember. But I have heard before that our accents are similar in the Carolinas. Like my accent maybe with yours. I don't know. But then I was on a live the other day with Summer, and me and Summer live like 30 minutes from each other. And they say, we love Danielle's accent. And I'm like, wait a minute. What about Summer's accent? Does she not have one? So that was kind of funny. Okay, I gotta focus. Let me look. Let me get done. I feel like the G was taking me a long time. Come down and see. Can y'all see the lines real good? Maybe not. Nancy from Michigan. Hey, I'm so excited that you're here. Are you new to the page? Let's see. Hey, Sharon. She's definitely not new to the page. It's good to see you tonight. Oh, that is awesome. Horse carriage tours. Oh my goodness. Okay, so it was more like they were also talking to you. It's not like just a romantic horse carriage ride. You got to get a tour of the area. That's fun. Okay, I'm going to move on to I guess I can do it. I was going to move on to the eye, but it's not going to hit my hand, so I'm fine to keep going. Hey, Karen, how are you? Let's see. Getting it done. Y'all, I'm nervous. I'm not going to lie to you. Lettering, I can do. Doing these leaves here in a minute. I hope you stick around for that show because I don't know how those are going to turn out. I got this different color paint. Also, if you're not new here, then you know I'm normally a neutral girl. I don't really add color. I don't do a lot of deviating from my black, white, brown. But we have to make some fall leaves. So I'm going to try my hand at mixing up some colors and making these leaves look like autumn leaves. But I thought to myself, why am I doing this on a live and not practicing first? But y'all will get to see me try it. I'm thinking, you know, I put these in these digital dust designs, but I create them on the iPad, which I just have to create in black and white, and that's not too hard. Hey, Vonda. And so this is going to take me out of my comfort zone a little bit, having to paint them. But we shall see how they turn out. Okay. A little bit more on this, an N and a G. Thank you, Vonda. Just going to keep that paintbrush loaded up. I can kind of tell right here that my paintbrush wasn't as loaded as it should be. So I'm going to bring that around. Give it a little more. The camera doesn't always show you the streakiness, but I can see it. So that's why I'm going back. But it's just so hard to beat white on stained wood. It's so pretty. Oh, that was a nice little glide around. Okay. Thank you, Beth. You're so sweet. Let's see. Jennings, Louisiana. Hey, Tony. I'm so excited that you're here tonight. Y'all, it's just been so fun to come back live again. And look, I am not a planner normally. I don't normally put out like, oh, I'm going to be live XYZ time, all that. But we homeschool our kids and we're about to, ooh, sorry, I keep bumping the camera. We are about to start our school year again. And this is such a huge blessing to me. So hear what me and a friend are doing. So she has 2 little boys around the same age as my kids, and we have decided to swap days because she's an ER nurse and she has her shifts on Mondays. And she was like, what if I take your kids and we're like splitting some subjects up, and like I take your kids on Mondays, you take my kids on opposite. I'm going to have her kids on Monday. Anyway, doesn't matter, other than to tell you that I'm going to have Wednesday mornings free. And so I'm going to try my best to schedule lives every Wednesday. And I'm telling you that to keep me accountable. Okay, Tony, no, what I like to use, because she just asked if we put Mod Podge or anything on it to seal it. I like to use, it's called polyacrylic. I do not have any in here right now, but I can send a like picture comment when this is all over. But I love polyacrylic. It is 1,000 times better than Mod Podge to me, because speaking of Louisiana heat, I used to use Mod Podge, and then when we would ship our signs and we would bubble wrap them, the heat would, in the summer times, it would like the bubble wrap would stick to the signs. It was awful because the Mod Podge, I guess, was just melting. I don't know, in the mailbox, in the packaging. Okay, this is the final of the lettering, but we're about to work on these leaves. So let me hold that up and just show it to you. Oh my goodness, y'all. How fun. Okay, because this is what you can do this too. Look, so really and truly, we could leave it like this, right? Like you do not have to have the leaves. It really looks good. But I used the digital dust design that had some leaves in it. So I'm going to try to add those in. And like if you use your digital dust design with a Cricut, then you do not, I guess I could do like this so you could see. You don't have to draw them. You can just, use your vinyl and everything. But we're going to try our hand at this and see how it goes. So I'm going to put this down. This is still wet, so I'm going to be careful. And I'm going to mix up a little bit of paint. I got some red and some yellow. Hey, Janet. I know, Sandy, do you remember? Well, I know you remember because you ordered them from me, but those stained wood blocks, I really think I should offer those again because that was so fun. The little shelf sitter blocks with it was like a kit that we did a while back. And I loved having that because that was so fun to offer. Okay. I have a water jar, but let's see. I'm probably just going to pour a little in this lid. There we go. Okay, I'm going to just stick the lid like right here. And I'm going to do one with the red. And then I've got a little brown. The only problem with my brown is that it's not chalk paint. It's this Master's Touch acrylic, but it's a raw umber. And I'm just going to mix it with the chalk paint we have. Oh, it's never been opened. Okay, Samantha, it is such a blessing because homeschooling is not for the faint of heart. My. And we actually joined a co-op that has been a blessing. So not every single subject do I have to teach at home. So that's nice. I mean, I have to teach at it. Last year, I actually taught hand lettering. They had a like artisans, well, not artisans, like an art class option. And I was teaching hand lettering to junior high and high school girls. And that was so fun. So my kids were learning science, and they had science PE and a history. And then I got to teach hand lettering during those 3 hours. So that was so fun. Okay, I'm going to kind of mix all the colors and see what happens, because these are supposed to be fall leaves. I'm just really nervous about this wet paint. So I'm going to come in. All right. We're going to have to get some more brown. That's real red. But you can't really see brown on here. So that's why I'm kind of mixing them. And then I can also come in with some accents afterwards. You can't really see it though, y'all. My kids are 10. Well, they're about to roll up in ages. So they're going to be this month 11, 9, and then I have a 7-year-old. I had to think. Okay, this is not going to be dark. I mean, this is going to be too dark. I think I'm about to do the trick, y'all. I'm going to cut it. I'm going to do this trick. Okay, I'm going to scoot this over and then watch. If you don't, I don't know, I'm nervous. I'm nervous for somebody to yell at me. But I'm going to make this, I'm going to cut these bristles off. Okay. These are cheap. These are cheap from Walmart. So there's a fly in here. Oh my gosh. Do you see that fly? Get off of my sign. Don't land in the paint. Okay, here we go. And this is why I'm doing it. Now I can press really hard like this and it'll work without me like having to be so light on that. Okay, Samantha cuts hers all the time. Makes me feel a little better. Little white with the brown. So smart. Thank you. Polyacrylic is like shellac. Okay, well, good deal. So is that something different that someone could buy? So I'm going to take a little bit of this white and mix it in with the brown, and we're going to, oh yeah, that'll help, I think. I'm just doing this on cardstock, y'all. Yes, co-op is the best because, okay, y'all, I feel like giving up. I'm not gonna lie. I'm like, let me quit while I'm ahead with these. Cricut users, you can use all these little elements. I've got to flip this upside down or I'm gonna get my hands all wet. There we go. Here we go. Okay. Y'all probably can't see it as good, but I can see. I'm gonna get my head down. I can see the outline. It's just not showing up. Okay, what color should I make this leaf, y'all? I've got some green, but it's supposed to be fall-y. Should I put some yellow in there? Help a girl out. This is so not my cup of tea. I should stick with what I know. It's just, I was trying to add a little something to the design so it wasn't just lettering. But take it from me, if you got it in digital dust and you just want to Okay, use my maze. I'm going to go for it. If you got into digital dust just for lettering stick, you don't have to do this part. Just use the lettering. Because it really didn't look bad once I got it on the sign. Because I usually like put elements like this digitally to like add filler. But I should have just stopped while I was ahead. Okay, this is just not turning out great. I'm going to empty that off a little. And then I do kind of want to get around that just to kind of make them more rounded off on the edges. But it's just looking, ooh. Okay, I do, Sandy, have a tan. Let me grab it. This is a warm gray. Let's try it. And then I wonder if that, oh yeah, that's showing up a little better. And then like, okay, so once I lay this down and it dries, I can add in the lines of the leaf and that will make me feel better. Okay. Thank you, Sandy. That helps me. I'm going to come in and then we'll do a little bit of shading with some red. That should be good. Let's see. Oh my goodness. Fly, go away. Another thing about living in Louisiana. Flies. And it's everybody in my family knows that I absolutely hate flies. Like I will go psycho with a fly around. Like, ah! Okay, I have an olive green too. So I may try that next. On like the next leaf, because actually there's one at the bottom that looks like it would be a green leaf. And so I'll use it down there. Because each of these leaves are different. Okay. Almost. My friend Carrie, do y'all follow Carrie's Canvas on Instagram? Whew, I need to take her class. That's what I need to do. She has a subscription where she teaches how to paint like this kind of stuff. All right, I'm going to flip it around and see how we're looking. So we're getting there. We're getting there. This is my thing. Okay, this is, yes, they are, Samantha. This is a tip. If you just started hand lettering and you don't think that your stuff looks that good, always take it back and look at it from far away. It's so funny to me when people take my in-person classes, they'll go, oh, it looks good when I hold it back. And I'm like, yeah, that's what you got to do sometimes. Okay, I'm going to let that dry and then come in with an accent on it in a little bit. And then let's see, we have a leaf here. This one is the one that looks like this. It definitely is going to be like a red, yellowy color in my mind. So let's try that out. I may keep this tan on here and just kind of mix it with that yellow red. Let's see what happens. I'm going to add the red first. And I know that I'll be covering up all these lines, but I can look at the template and get an idea of where the inside lines go. I'm going to have to get a darker brown after it, but this will be our first little layer. All right, Sandy, have you gotten into the new membership area and looked around? I am so oh wait, you can't really see good with this. Let me get a little closer. Sorry, y'all, I had you clipped in and I pulled you out. Oh my goodness. Hang on. We're going to get there. Thank you, Sandy. Okay. You can see my water cup and all the things, but I'm going to get you back in and pushed closer. I'm just nervous I'm going to pop it out again. All right, here we go. Here we go. All right. You can see the camera and all now. Here, let me scooch it that way. Have you gotten to look around in the membership area, Sandy? Because today I uploaded how to do this, and I'm so excited for y'all to see it. I use the website Block Posters, which is totally free, and you can come in and add your you add your design. So you take the, oh yeah, it's kind of hard to see with the lighting, but this one's turning out more how I envisioned it. But it lets you take your digital dust design and make it. That is so funny, Samantha. She said her favorite saying when she's live, "It's a rough ride, hold on." Yes, I've had that happen a bunch of times. But yeah, you can take your digital dust design, make it bigger, and fit it to any canvas you want with blockposters.com. It's pretty self-explanatory. I don't really think I needed to make the video, but you never know. I also posted. So if you join, I highly, highly, highly suggest accessing your designs through a computer or an iPad. But I understand that some of you will just be accessing from your iPhone. So the original welcome video had just, I'm going to let that dry and add the accent to it. The original welcome video had just showing online. I mean, not online, just showing on a computer. Thank you, Tony. I'm feeling way better about that one. Okay, these two, like this one looks like I can do green, and this one maybe the same as the top. We'll see. Because this is what these two look like. But I'm going to get that olive green out. But that one and that one. But anyway, it showed how to access it from your computer. And so today I uploaded how to access from your phone. Okay, this one is called Moss. And it kind of matches my shirt. This is one of my favorite colors. This and then like that cream. Oh, it's not even open yet. That creamy pink. I mean, yeah, I told y'all my favorite color last time I was live, and I showed it to you. That blush pink. Oh, goodness. I might have to get some scissors. But my scissors have paint bristles all over them. Okay, cool. So I will do, I think I might do the maze on that other one and leave the green for this one that I'm about to do. So let's try it. I'm going to get a different paintbrush. Thanks for hanging out with me tonight. Thank you, Vonda. I feel way better about it than the first one. It was a little rough. Okay, we're going to come in with this green, and then I'll definitely have to add some accents to it too, but this is so much easier to do than that first one. I think I started with the hardest one. Oh, this is getting me in the fall mood. But if I walk outside, my dreams will be crushed again. All right, that one was pretty simple. And then we'll just add a little bit of maybe some cream to it. Just to give it a little bit of texture, and then I'll come in and add more to it here in a little bit. But now let's flip over to this one, and I will go straight for the maze. I'm going to just kind of like wipe this one off. Got some paper towel. Yes, moss is so pretty. Oh, constantly watching, but always miss the live with 4 kids. Let's see. I get it. I get it. Believe me. That's part of the reason I don't go live as much as I would like to. But you know, I do this, and the whole reason this business got started was so I could stay home with my kids. And so I never, ever, ever want to let that be, you know, like I don't want it to seem like, well, because the kids are here, I can't work. Like, you know what I mean. So this actually started, I was babysitting kids in my home, and a friend that I was babysitting for, because I had started doing that because we had moved back here. Speaking of, have you been here since the beginning? Anybody else? It does match my shirt. Anybody been watching since the beginning and heard my story about how we moved here? But we took a big pay cut with my husband's job whenever we moved here. So I started babysitting kids, and then a friend that I was babysitting for, you can't really tell what color this is. I feel like the lighting in here is not great with showing these colors. But she asked me to make a sign for her, and I was like, why are you asking me to make this? It was for her booth that was local in town, where she was renting out the booth space for her little shop. And she asked me to make the sign for her booth. And I said, why are you asking me? And she said, well, every time I come pick up my son, I see I have a chalkboard in my kitchen. And she said, I see your lettering on that chalkboard, and it's cute, would you want to do it? And I was like, again, I was just talking to you. Hey, Ashton. I was just talking to you about how bad it was in the beginning. But she saw something, so yay for that. And then she came to pick up her son another day and said that people were trying to buy that sign out of her booth, even though it was her booth's like name. But it was a part of a Bible verse, and so I think that's why some people thought that. But that is how it all got started, because then she and my mother both encouraged me to get a booth space where she had her booth. And so that's how it got started. I was making chalkboards, and it just kept growing from there. And God has been so good to allow it to keep going. Okay, I'm going to come in with maybe a black paint pen, but of course I'm going to sit here and there's not a black paint pen. I always have a black paint pen beside me, and I do not. I'm trying to think of a way to add a little bit of accent, like the lines. Y'all want to hang tight for me? Oh, you know what? It's in here. It's just around the backside. Hold on. Oh, I say that. What? I'm still here. Okay, I have an idea. And it is to use a regular Tombow pen. Why not? It'll save me from having to run out to the shop. Ashton, you got to go back and watch from the beginning, because this was so fun. We did the whole thing with a paintbrush, except now I'm going to try a little pen. But this one still looks wet, so I'm going to leave it alone, and I'm going to come down here and I'm going to add in these lines. So let's see if I can look at it like that. So let's see if I can look at it and kind of just give it the same look. So I'm going to come in. Oh, goodness, I'm not. Okay. Let's go straight down. This way. This way. So you can also use your templates this way. You can just look at them and try to get it by eyeballing it. Let's see. This one's going to come all the way this way. Okay. I wonder, yeah, this is just neat. I've never used a regular pen on a sign like this, but it works. Okay. I kind of want to stop and not get too crazy with it. Let me hold it up and show you what it looks like from this angle. so far. That red's not showing up so great, but it's my favorite one. Okay, let me keep adding accents to these other ones. My favorite. It's that stained wood. It's just not going to show up as good. But if you see it, thank you, Anna. If you see it in person, it will. That top one up there is still going. But this one is dry. So let's roll with it. We're going to have a line. This one's very easy. And then this one is still drying. So I'm going to give it some more time. Okay, what do y'all think? You think paint pen or paintbrush? From a distance, you can't tell the difference. So it's kind of your own preference. Thank you, Samantha. I don't have a hairdryer in here, and this is some pretty thick paint. So I may call it for the live and then add, thank you, Karen. Add the accents to those two. I'll video it and put it as a reel or something. And then show the final sign. So yay. Okay. Thank you so much, Sherry, for watching. Thank y'all for being here. And then, so let's see. Karen said, hope to see you more soon. If you missed it, I'm going to try. So starting in September, I'm going to try for going live every Wednesday morning, and I will keep y'all informed on that. I really enjoy being on here with you. So the more I can do it, the more happy everybody is, y'all and me. So, okay. Thank you, Susie. Thank you, Samantha. Thanks for like all that you shared tonight, Samantha. I really appreciate you. Okay. So do they have a white finish pen? Not sure how it would look. I don't have one. Oh, I have a white paint pen that I could have tried. That's actually a good point. I've already did these, and now I'm like, well, I don't know. Okay. Okay, so maybe next time I'll try that on the leaves. That sounds like a great idea, Marie. All right, bye, y'all. Thanks for tuning in tonight.